through the game. Can you just tell us where Ryder's at in terms of on that ankle and
no, he's fine.
Finish the game?
He's fine. We, I was probably being cautious with him at three-quarter time. I asked him how he was, and he was more than happy to go back out there. And in the end, with about 5 or 6 minutes left, we decided that's enough. Obviously, he gave his ankle a little tweak, but nothing that you would think would be a problem with next week.
Because once he went back out in that fourth quarter, he looked like he was noticeably limping a fair bit on the ground.
Yeah, he certainly had a little limp, and he did twist his ankle a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit sore. But no, he'll be fine.
And Dixon's okay after testing the.
I'm more worried about the fence.
Yeah.
Fence is in more trouble than Charlie, I reckon.
In terms of the game, does it answer that trust question for you? And did they answer the message you gave them on Thursday night at selection? Yeah,
no. So if I go back a little, the answer to the trust question, it's been answered a number of times this year. So I don't think that's a question that we should probably deal with too much more. But we certainly wanted to have a really strong performance off last week's good win over in WA. So it was important for us to come back and play good footy.
Physical intent early, Ken, from your team to hunt the ball and tackling in particular. Do you notice that stood out?
Yeah, I think we were quite aggressive in the contest. We're physically big in that space, so we like going into that area. It's the way we play our football. We have to be that type of side. We've got to be quite aggressive inside, and then hopefully we can get enough ball in our front half and kick a score that we did today.
How pleased have you been with the dynamic mix of your midfielders? There's so many names going through their different parts of the day.
Yeah, well, it's really important to a coach, obviously, to have flexibility in your team, and we've got that at the moment through that area of the ground. We've probably got that in a number of areas at the moment. One area that we play pretty solid, strong 6 or 7 players is our back half. The rest of the team gets moved around a fair bit.
Do you think that Thursday night moment with Jack Homps did rattle them a bit in the sense they had to answer to you, like you said yesterday, you have to own your position? No,
I don't. I don't think that is, because they know what Homsy is. Homsy's a great player for us and has been, but it's more about competition's tight for spots, and we've got to reward those who play well. And if you're not quite at your best, well, that's what happens, and that should happen every year. But this year, because we've got a really, really fit squad, it certainly makes it much more manageable for us.
Well, it seemed like that question was answered in the first quarter, like 8 goals and just the dominance of. We've seen Ryder obviously all season, but winning the clearances, just another superb performance obviously before he came off. But that attitude from the very start, you must be impressed with that. Yeah,
we were home and we were pretty experienced against a side that lacked a little bit of experience out there today. But we certainly made our intent known right at the start of the game. And when you do that, I suppose you get to play the game more on your terms than the opposition. That's really important.
Your kicking for goal was very good early. Overall, were you satisfied? Do you think it's improved?
Yeah, well, it's week to week a little bit. We kicked okay in the first half. We missed a few in the second half. More often than not, we just got to keep working at it, and that's what we have to do. And every side, you win and lose games sometimes by kicking it through the big sticks.
Is the reason why you preferred to have Dixon higher up today?
Yeah, we want to take Tarrant out of the way.
Okay.
We think Tarrant's their absolute best tall back, and we thought it was important. And Charlie's so flexible with his ability to move around the contest. It gives us a chance to do some stuff there, and once we were able to do that, we think that helped us get the scoreboard going early.
What's to say of Sam Gray when he can play like that?
Says a few people should give him a break and say that he can actually play AFL football. There's plenty of people that still want, for some reason, they still want to knock Sam. He's one of the best role players we've got.
So he's definitely silenced that question, you think, after, 4 goals and 26 touches? It was, like Rich said, it was a superb performance from him.
He's done that a few times. He just hasn't kicked straight. Yeah. Like he's had 1 goal 3 or 1 goal 2. He's had plenty of, his scoring opportunities are enormous. And, it's his 50th game today, so he's just starting to get some real belief in what he can do.
How about that first quarter from Justin Westhoff? Sort of going up, back, doing everything. I know he sort of still had a big game, but that first quarter really set the tone with what he did.
Yeah, and he's one of those reliable people that you have in your team, and week in, week out, he gives you everything he's got, whether it is in the back line, the forward line, or in the midfield.
As coach's search for perfection, can you pick that game apart, or?
Yeah, there's parts in the game that we would look at as a group and say we could perhaps do some better things in that. There's no doubt about that, and we'll always look at that. I think we've still got a lot of improvement to come, and that's what we've, I've spoken to the group right through the season about. We've changed so much, so I think our growth is going to continue, and I think, hopefully this, in fact, I know there's a better football still in us.
Just on Ryder, not about his ankle, but you see John Warsaul's told about the Essendon players who were banned who have hit the wall, and Jay Watson's being rested. Surprised that he's still covering the ground so well and doing so well and looks fresh?
Yeah, no, not so much, because he looked after himself incredibly well through that period, obviously, and then he come back in great shape, and he's had great conditioning people to help him stay in shape. He's had a good run at it from an injury point of view, so hopefully that continues. But no, I'm not surprised at all. Paddy's a mature player now. He's at that stage where we talk about other players. They get to that mid-20 stage. I reckon our rucks, 27, 28, they start to really become the players they want to be.
Is it more also that year out, knowing what you miss, knowing how much then you do love the game, that has driven him even more this year?
Yeah, I have to answer that with an honest yes. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt Paddy really missed being a part of the football club, and he's making every post a winner at the moment.
Logan Austin's return, how did you?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty solid, considering he's been such a long time. That was end of last year, round 23 was his last AFL game. So I think he's always going to take a little time to come back and pick up the pace, but I think he's got a really bright future for us.
Did Carl Amon play in the SANFL today?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Would you be looking at him for next week, or would you like to see him get another game or two under his belt in the SANFL?
Oh, I know. It's great to have him back, because I think he's an important player for us going forward, and we miss a bit of his outside stuff, so Carl will be in the mix, there's no doubt about that.
Do you feel they're at a point now where they can do that solid run, string together wins to really lock themselves in the top 8, perhaps top 4? Yeah,
we hope so, and that's what we're setting out to try and do, and that's what we need to do, because we still only a game inside, or whatever it is, inside the top 8, so he's got to keep doing that. And I think right now is the time a side or sides are going to get that little space, and it's going to be because they've put back-to-back performances, and week after week they've turned up and done the right thing, and we've got another great chance in big challenge next week. We go to the MCG, we play Melbourne. It's going to be a big game.
Thanks.